fear, like we don't want to express in fear, right?
Yeah,
That's
right.
the thing. Like you don't, so it's gonna come out some kind of other way. You're mad, or or this or that, or you joke it off.
Yeah.
But really, sometimes,
It's just straight fear.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
Which is, with all the reverence around the table, what's that passage of scripture? God has not given us the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind, right?
Sound like you a reverend too. Oh, you just got total recall.
I pay attention.
Yeah.
But that's, I think you're spot on. It is fear.
Yeah.
But then if you back up, so how do we deal with the fear? Right?
That's
how
it.
do we get cats trained in scripture and biblical
Yes.
concepts?
You want me to help you with that?
Please.
Okay, so
You are the host.
I dreamed about this, and growing up, I grew up in church, singing in the choir, usher boy, everything in the church I did. And the exact thing you're talking about, the fear piece. How do we fix that with men? How do we fix that fear piece? Well, if you look at it, think about it. Not just men our age, but men younger than us. They didn't grow up with prayer, possibly in the homes. They didn't grow up with prayer in the schools. They just didn't grow up with prayer. Okay? They may have gotten it sporadically somewhere, but it's not within them. It's not their base. I think we talked about base today. It's not their base. So we need to get back to the basics. That's the answer.
Agreed.
But
I thought you was going to tell us how to do it. I could have said that.
Right. Well, right. So I got a question on your question. How do we get back to the basics? I'm trying to bring it back down to the ground roots. How do we get back to the basics, guys?
One of the things I've noticed, and we used to talk about this at the church that Nell and I used to be a part of, success is attractive. And so what you guys are doing in DeKalb County, first of all, keep fighting the good fight. Don't get weary in your well doing. Because what ends up happening is people see you doing well, right? See your health is intact, right? Though there's some challenges. Your health is intact. People will gravitate towards success. And y'all look like success. And so just keep plugging away.
Keep fighting the fight. Keep fighting the fight. That's
People
good.
want to be around other successful people, right? And the momentum just builds from there.
That's a good point.
Especially since y'all are targeting fathers in particular, right? Which everything starts and finishes there anyway.
But it even goes into what I said earlier about how energy is contagious. It's contagious, it really is.
Same sort of conceptually, same thing.
However, Henry, I'm still afraid.
So what we gonna do about you being afraid? Well, we brought it up earlier. The young man, I forget his name now. We got back to the basics. We got to go back to prayer. Prayer. I'm going to take everything back to prayer. Because if it wasn't for, I'm going to give you, and then we'll move on. But I'm going to give you 5 things, man, that helped me. 5 techniques that helped me survive cancer. 5. Man, I tell you, I had to have faith. I had to have faith in God. My faith is in God. Whatever your faith may be, that you got to have some type of faith to get through a disease as such as cancer. Gotta have faith. Secondly, you gotta have a great doctor. Not just a good doctor, but you gotta have a great doctor. I saw a doctor that you have researched, you have talked to face to face, and he understands your purpose. Oh! Boy, he has to understand your purpose. For him to, when a doctor understands your purpose, why you want to survive, you know what? When he gets under that operating table, he is laser focused. Because I'm going to tell you guys some things that y'all may not get because you haven't been there. If you don't have a great doctor, not make it. You may live emotionally, mentally, physically. You may not make it. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. Everybody I'm assuming everybody knows what prostate cancer is. Everybody knows where the prostate is in this room, right? You know you know where your prostate? There you go. Well, you done had yours already? No, okay, but you heard about it. Okay, get that education.
Real premature.
Right.
You need to talk. No, I ain't ready for that.
Yeah, I was saying. Okay, but you know what it is and where it is. So once you have cancer, prostate cancer we're talking about, it may appear in your apex 1 and your apex 2. That's your left and right of your prostate. So I had cancer in both sides, apex 1, apex 2. So when VA tells me you have cancer, I say, okay, I'm gonna get a second opinion.
Sure.
All right. So I go, my mom and I do the research. All right. We find the best doctors, urologists, here in Atlanta. We went to like 5 or 6 different doctors. I didn't find the right one until we got to that number 6. All the rest of the doctors, it was a money thing, it was a number thing for them in their head, and I read all that. Make a long story short, that number 6 doctor, he pulled a chair in front of me in the room after he read my chart from the VA and slides and all that kind of stuff, X-ray. And he said, he pulled a chair in front of me, about right here. He about to tell me something, and I'm feeling kind of some type of way.
What does that mean?
Yeah. I'm feeling some type of way. All right, what's going on? What's going on, Doc? Talk to me. And so I'm at a point where, me, I can't have cancer. This ain't me. No, I told my dad I would not get cancer. I told my dad I'm breaking the curse. All right, so I couldn't, Make a long story short, he gave me one of the greatest feelings, the greatest speeches that I've ever heard in my entire life. And the moral of this is, based off what he said, is after him telling me about all the processes that I can go through, how I can survive, the things I have to do, he went from nuts to bolts on everything. The rest of the doctors didn't do that. This doctor set me down. His name is Dr. Martin Sander, Emory Hospital. Set me down. He said, another thing. I didn't know this. I did some research, but I didn't know this. If it had been for him, dog, you would have a different me. Let me tell you what I'm saying. Your nerves, when it comes to your prostate, you have nerves wrapped around your prostate. Okay? Trying to educate you guys. You have nerves wrapped around your prostate. Those nerves has to do with you getting an erection. Okay? If one of those nerves is severed, guess what? I don't care what medication you take. I don't care what pump you use. I don't care what injection you have. You're done. So your doctor better know how to work around, save, and preserve your nerves.
Better sleep at a Holiday Inn the night before.
Telling you. So I need, that's why, in my book, man, I try to, I'm educating men right here, right now. You better know your doctor, you better know that your doctor knows what you're trying to do.
You can translate that to so many things, right? Your place of employment, your spouse, your financial planner, your attorney, your pick a
Good point.
Yeah. Your local marshal.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever it is, right? To max it out, they need to know
What they do.
what you're about, so
Yes.
that they get focused
Yep.
to serve it and
Yep.
protect it.
That's it.
Are they relevant?
Yeah.
Irrelevant. Yeah.
Are they gonna fight? Do they take the fight as seriously as you?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good point. then I'm gonna let you close it out. I'm gonna let you close yours out. But Dr. Sander is part of my team now. He's not as close as a frat brother, but he's close as a frat brother. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you that if you have an issue, find the best professional in that field. Do the research. Don't accept what people say. Don't accept what others say. Do the research and go to that doctor. Do the research and go to that doctor.
Dropping the mic.
You close it out?
I can't top that.
You can't talk. Okay. Well, fellas, that was absolutely marvelous, and you know why you're here. You know you're in your purpose now. We've talked about this. You know your purpose.
I'm just in denial.
I know. You know your purpose. So take it from here. You are there. Let's run with it. Don't stop.
It's too easy.
Don't stop. Fellas, I'd like to introduce you to
Like he gonna help you write the manuscript.
That's it. Already.
Don't worry, I got a similar office.
Yep. Y'all just sitting on this gold mine, and I'm trying to help you. Just get it done. All you gotta do is get it done. You can be jotting it down while you sleep. We go figure it out.
Oh, he retired. He got tired.
However, sir. It's my schedule. I'm the manager. I'm the time manager. It's my schedule. So if I wake up in the middle of the night, I jot something down with my eyes closed, then that's okay. But I'll get back to it.
Right.
It's my time.
There you go.
That may not be the right thought, I'm sorry.
Well, you guys, man, your not just your thought process, but your whole purpose needs to be translated to not just this room, but needs to be translated to the masses. And to get that word out to the masses, in a lot of cases, it has to be in writing. Now we got online stuff now, so Instagram and all that kind of stuff. But there's ways, we can get it out of the mass. But if you put it down in writing, like you said it before. Before my grandmother passed, I wrote this book in 2015, and my grandmother at the time was 92. If I had not sat down with her, recorded her, talked to her, multiple visits, I would not have this information, man, about my family. I didn't know I had the Campbells, the Austins. I didn't know none of that. Until my grandma said, "Yeah, you can do this good." Henry O. Flipper. Henry O. Flipper.
The good ones or the bad ones? Which campus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? Yeah, I know. I didn't know it. I didn't know any of that until I sat down with my grandmother. She gave me the family tree. So I submit to you guys, man. Your book is already written. It just needs to be in print.
That's a good statement right there.
And if I could pile on a little bit, I know a cat, a white guy who had a project. He wrote a book and he focused on just interviewing octogenarians, 100-year-olds. And that's what he did. If grandma got peers,
She's the only one left out of 20.
Wow. Yeah. Better get it.
but that might be a path for you, right? To
Oh, yeah.
go capture that, where, if not in your own hometown.
Right.
Wherever you can find it.
Awesome. Without further ado, guys, I'd like to introduce you to my brother, my line brother, my blood brother. We've been through the thick and the thin, and we talk each and every day, 3, 4, 5 times a day. I tell you, brother Linnell D. White III.
Yeah, so, I'm going to tell y'all right off the back, it's going to be very hard. It's a lot of good information that y'all just put out there because of some of my mentors. challenges. There's a billion things going through my head right now, which is why I write stuff down. I can stay on point.
Right.
But I will say this though, before I jump in directly to what I'm saying, what is connected with all y'all have talked about so far is, you know, we used to hold great stock in family reunions.
Yes.
And family reunions, for, at least for my family, we still have them on both sides of my family. And it's not about just getting together just because we haven't seen each other in a while. I learned more stuff about my family at every family reunion. Now, it's kind of like the internet, right? You gotta weigh what you hear.
Right.
Some of it's disinformation. But
Because I'm pretty sure you never dunked on Jabbar.
no, never. I've never done that before. Never. But like all things that I said, there's always a little truth to it. If you dig hard enough, you get down to it. And so, what the theme of what I want to present and talk about here really is about legacy. So, we've been talking about health, and why it's important to know things about your family, how you end up, particularly how you learn things later, although you knew them, you didn't know what they were until later. You know, a lot of that is really about legacy, right? And to bring this back around to a spiritual perspective, living in light. When you're in light, things can be seen. Things aren't hidden. That leads to legacy. Living in light leads to legacy. So, the scripture that says, write the vision and make it plain, right? The question that rarely comes up when people say that scripture is, well, whose vision are you writing?
Yeah.
Whose vision are you? A lot of people preach that, and they talk about vision they think God gave us. Oh, that's the vision you write. When you should be writing about God's vision. Because that's what you got to remember. And so, we got some help. We got the scriptures at our hand to help us remember what his vision is. So I want to just for a second, just tell y'all about a story about some children of a child. Child name was Judah.
Child's what?
Child's name was Judah.
Okay.
And Judah had children. And Judah had a lineage. Judah had a purpose. Judah's purpose was commissioned by God to do a specific thing as one of the children of Israel. We always hear about David and his mighty men. And there were three mighty men that was talked about. He went and got David this water when he was thirsty. But one of those men, his name was Benai, or Benai as they pronounce it in Hebrew. I wish I was better at Hebrew, but I'm not. But he had a lineage. That mighty man had a lineage. And it was through the line of Judah. And actually it ran through who we call Jabez, right? We know about the prayer Jabez, and law borders, all that good stuff. It's actually pronounced Jabez. Okay? It's the only place I know of in the world where when they call your name, they have the right to change your name to something that isn't your name. I'm getting on the side soapbox for a second. Because if I go to Egypt, they're going to call me Lanel. And I'm going to change my name to some Arabic name. Right? They're going to call it Lanel. All right? So Jabez's name is Jabez. That's Jabez's name. But I digress. Let me go on down. So we have Jabez. And Jabez had a prayer. Asked God to enlarge their borders. And what basically came out was, yeah, we're going to do that, but you know, wait, you must tarry. The promise is coming. Okay, the promise is coming. It will not tarry. But you gotta wait and tarry. So so there's a promise. But before there's a promise, there's a premise to that promise that leads to patrimony. And patrimony is similar to the word patriarch. This is man cave, so we're going to talk about
Right.
patrimony. Right? Because like my good friend said, you know, the buck starts and stops with us.
Yeah.
It has ever since the Garden of Eden.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about patrimony. And so from Jabez, which is actually a man, Jabez, out of Jabez, you finally get to someone that's called Paseah. Paseah was a simple temple worker, right? Because of course the Levites had the task of maintaining the temple. So Paseah was a simple temple worker, and then you get to Jehoiada, who was Benaiah's father. But this is where the story gets interesting. So Jehoiada's name means Jehovah knows. Jehovah knows. And so if you don't know the vision and who you're getting it from, you are already dead. You're dead. You haven't even begun to live. He was a valiant man, Jehovah was. He was priest to one of the kings of Israel, King Jehoash, and his name means given by the Lord. Jehovah also commanded many captains, and he was chief of the Levites at the time. He was a leader of the Aaronites. You know who Aaron was. But what was more important, he was very critical in that transition of the kingdom from Saul to King David. Very critical to ensuring that when Saul was gone, King David, although he was named king when he was younger, would be able to take the throne. He's a mighty man. Jehoiada's son, Benaiah, who is where I start off from, because we know he was a mighty man. Guess what? Besides being a mighty man, he was of course a Levite. He also served Solomon.
Who?
Solomon.
Stuck around a while.
Stuck around.
Couple administrations.
And then guess what? His son, Pelatia, or Pelatia, depends on if you're from the north or the south. His name, Jehovah Delivers, was also a mighty man. So I hope you catch the thing. We have three mighty men, a lineage of mighty men. This lineage was passed down from father to son, father to son. Now in these three, they were mighty men, but all of the line, they're all servants.
Right.
They're all servants. That lineage has been passed down. And you said it earlier. You talked about how people don't talk about what happened. You sat on the front porch with your granddad. I did the same thing. Sat out on the front porch with my granddad. Told me all these World War II vet. Told me all these great stories. I learned about how he had to get ran out of Alma, Georgia, because he got in a fight with a white man, and they was gonna kill him. So he made his way down to Florida. Little stuff like that, right? So here's the crux of the matter. The promise. You gotta know what that is. You gotta know who you are. Know who you are, and then who you serve. That's the only way you get focused on the promise. That's part of our issue. We don't pass down the promise, right? Or actually, we don't let our kids understand the premise. I'm misspeaking. It's the premise is that we don't understand and tell our kids, look, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. Why? Because God says so. You ain't just taking my word, and you show it.
Right.
Israel had this oral tradition they would pass down the laws of God orally. So you're not going to get up and say something wrong, get it wrong, because this thing is done all the time, over and over again. It's in you. So it's like saying a story, little Bo Peep come blow your horn.
Yeah,
right.
Down the See, the stuff that just flow off.
Yeah.
That's how they passed down. Their traditions was like that. Okay? So you have to understand the premise of what's been promised first. Know who you are and know who you serve. Then you get to the promise part. But you can't understand the promise unless you know the vision. You got to know the vision and then know your purpose. This is just not good enough just to say, okay, we all going to heaven.
Right.
That ain't good enough. What you supposed to be doing to go to heaven? Oh, well, you can't get into heaven by what you do. Okay, but faith without works is dead. So you got to reconcile that some way. You got to know what your part is in the vision. If you don't know what your part is in the vision, you don't even have anything to pass down. So if you don't have anything to pass down, what do you expect your offspring to do? What do you expect those young men, since we're targeting men, to do if you don't have anything to give them? So there's a premise to the promise, and that leads and helps you build what's called a patrimony. And that's, you have to simply be good